So in this section we're going to be activating our grains. Here we want to start with a clean vessel. The best way to clean your vessel, I would say, is just with some hot soapy water, and then you want to let it drip dry upside down. So you don't want to kind of dry it with a cloth, but just let it drip dry. Once it's cooled down and clean, then we're ready to go. So we're starting with 500 milliliters of the filtered water, and to this we're going to add two tablespoons, or actually 2 heaped of these teaspoons. They're not quite a tablespoon, but 2 heaped ones into here. Now, a note on the sugar. Sugar, you can use, as we're using here, some refined white sugar. You can also, the best and most ideal is really organic cane sugar. You don't want to be using anything unrefined. So brown sugar doesn't quite work. That tends to damage the grains, and after a while the grains will kind of crumble apart. When you start seeing that happen, that means they've denatured. They're not working really anymore. So here we're going to add 2 heaped tablespoons into our water. Now note the water is at room temperature. You can warm it slightly to make it easier to dissolve, but you don't need to. So we'll stir it until it's dissolved, which can take a while. This is where actually heating it slightly does work really nicely. If you do heat it, just make sure you have cooled it down again as well. So, once you've got your sugar water, what you're going to do is you're going to add the whole contents of your cafe grain pouch. So this cafe grain pouch has 40 grams of cafe grains. So these are kind of dormant at the moment. What we're doing here, this process is activating them. That means that they'll be ready for our first fermentation. So that'll be the next process we go through. But we start with this. So your whole pouch of 40 grams we will put into here. So first we'll put the sugar water in, the whole sugar water in. So we're going to empty the whole pouch of grains into our sugar water. Don't be afraid to use the spoon if you need to get some of those out, but they'll kind of plop in there. And make sure you are getting all of them out. Take your time. Obviously if you leave some in there, that's not the worst thing in the world, but we do want to make sure that you're using as much as possible. And just give it a very tiny stir. Doesn't need a full stir. There we go. So, once you have your grains and your sugar water in there, that's the whole process really. We'll be covering it with a cloth. So we've provided you with a cloth here. And one of the rubber bands from the booklet will be able to fix that. Make sure you're fixing it quite low down so it doesn't come off. That's the process. You're activating your grains. We're going to leave that for 48 hours and then we'll come back to it.